Hi. Okay, so you have to write a paper and it needs to be in the MLA format. Great, you've come to the right place. Let's talk about MLA. What is MLA? MLA stands for Modern Language Association, and it is a style of writing that is commonly used. In fact, you are going to use it throughout your middle school and high school and possibly some college career. All right, so let's get used to it. What does this include? The way that you format your paper and the way that you cite your sources. Let's take a look at that. Formatting your paper, the basics. All right, what do your papers look like? They are going to be typed in double space. They are going to have a 12-point font. The margins are only 1 inch wide. Now, fortunately for you, Google Docs, which is probably where you write most of your papers, but also Word, the Windows Word document. Also, their standard is a 1 inch margin, so you don't really have to fuss with that. You are to indent the first line of each paragraph using your tab key. You'll need to add page numbers to the header of each page. And you need your name, your instructor's name, the course, and the date in the upper left-hand corner. The title is centered, and you will create a works cited page. Let's see what that looks like. So I'm pretending I am writing a paper. I have already put in my name, my teacher's name, my course, and the date. And I've centered my title, okay? But you notice these need to be double spaced. So I go into insert, nope, format, line spacing, double. Okay. And then I'll start writing from my notes in my outline, right? And now we need to do the page header. This one is tricky for a lot of you, so let's look at that. I want to insert page numbers. Okay. Now, a lot of your teachers will say that they do not want you to include the first page because your first page already has your name on it, and it's clearly the first page because it has your title on it. So instead, you'll start at the second page. So we're going to go to more options, and we're going to not show on the first page, and we're going to start at page 1. So nothing shows up here, but you can see if I were to, as I write, page 2 shows up. Now, your professor or teacher rather might say, I want to see your last name along with the page number. Fine, I got it. I'm going to double click right outside of my page number in my header. And I'm going to type in my last name and a space. And then I'm going to click outside of my header. And you'll see, go down another page. It did it for all of my pages. Okay, cool. So that is our page number. Now let's talk about citations. Okay, in-text citations. What are those? We use in-text citations when we're citing sources within the body of your paper, and this means when you directly quote or when you paraphrase. Okay, you want to be able to let your teacher know where you found the information that you are using. Okay, so I have some examples. The first one is an example of a direct quote. Scott stated that the office's feel-good factor was off by an interrupted presence by administration. And then in parentheses, I have the page in which I'm referring to. So we'll just say that's from page 263 of a book. Okay. Notice the parentheses and the number are before the period. So this is the direct quote. Because I'm saying who said it, Scott, I do not have to put Scott in the parentheses. However, the next example you'll see is a paraphrase. He explained that the interruption of administration left the office feeling less fun. Now, Scott said that, comma, space, page number 263. Again, in parentheses before the period. Okay? Now, before we go on, I want to point out to you a really useful website called Purdue Owl. And we're just going to put in MLA. So that's our first hit because this is a really popular website. And on this website, you are going to find examples of citations for all the crazy, wacky things that you might be citing. So if I want to do a well, we're not getting to works cited yet. If I want to do in-text citations, I'm going to go to that, and it is going to tell me how the in-text citations should look. If it's a print source with known authors, with corporate authors, for whatever, it's going to give you examples how to do it. Okay? So Purdue Owl. It's your best friend. All right, let's talk about works cited page. That is the page at the end of your paper, and it's its own page. Okay, so it's a separate page at the end of your paper. And again, this has a special way to format it. The title of this page is going to be works cited, capital W, capital C. It's not italicized and it's not underlined. It's just plain old works cited, and it's centered on top. Your citations, like your paper, are double spaced, and you are not to skip spaces between entries. That one got me a lot. So again, do not skip spaces between your entries. Everything is double-sided. They're all the same, equal amount of space. Okay, this part's tricky. You need to indent the second and subsequent lines by 1/2 inch. Okay, so unlike your paper, when we would indent the first line of the paragraph, this one's flip-flop, okay? We leave the first line as is, and we indent the second and third and fourth subsequent lines. Chances are you won't have more than 2. Your format depends on the type of source, which again, I'm going to show you where on the Owl Purdue website or the Purdue Owl website rather, where to find examples of different sources. But here I'm just going to show you what format you use when you're citing a book, in which case it is last name, and last name is capitalized, comma, space, first name. First name is capitalized, period, space, in italics, the title of the book, period, space. Capitalize the city of publication. Okay, you'll find that in the front of your book, right? Comma, space, publisher, comma, space, publisher date, period. That's pretty easy. Let's take a look at some examples. Okay. So my works cited page got thrown down a little bit as I was playing around with my header. So I'm going to move it back up. Now, how do I make sure that my works cited page is, in fact, on a separate page? Because sometimes if we add a little bit to our paper or edit or, delete, our works cited might get thrown off. So I'll show you a trick. At the very end of your paper, you are going to insert a break. And you want a page break. And that is going to ensure that your works cited page stays on its own page. Okay. Now I think I need to even delete a little bit more because I got thrown off a little bit. And we have to make sure that works cited is centered. And then I have gone ahead and just copied some citations from the Purdue site just to show you different examples. Okay, so here are my citations. They are all double-sided, double-spaced. Yeah, okay. And now, here's the tricky part. Those darn indentations, because if you see, this is the first line of the second citation, but this is the second line of the second citation, and that's the one I'm supposed to have indented. But if I select tab, it's It doesn't want to do it. It wants to tab my first line over. So here's what I do. I'm going to select all of my citations, and then I'm going to go up to this little guy, my ruler marker, and I'm going to move him over. Move. I'm going to grab it by the bottom and move it all over to a 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to grab the top and move that back over. And it took the first lines back with it. So now it is indented on the correct lines. All right, and I think that's all we have. So check it out. We have learned how to format our pages in MLA style. We're rock stars. All right. Let me know if you have any questions.